Welcome to the podcast here on the MD Nerd Podcast. It's your man Luke P, along with my man Marvin right down there. Say what's up, Marvin. Oh, kind of previewing what we're going to talk about. And today, it is our honor and pleasure to bring in our man, usually behind the scenes, but we got him out today. I don't know, I guess he's tired of hiding. Our man, Jesse Love in the house. What's up, Jesse?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, what's up? Shout out to Josh. Shout out to DJ GOC. We got this for you, all right?
Yep. It's for you, my friend. And today we're going to talk about Venom, the new Venom movie that just recently came out, Venom 2, Beyond Carnage. Am I correct on saying that?
There Be Carnage.
Oh, let there be carnage. See, all right. All right, you kind of got a preview of how we feel about the movie. But, okay, let's talk about it. Okay, so obviously it's a sequel to the first Venom movie we saw a few years back.
You don't happen to have the box office numbers, do you? I know that's usually your tradition.
I usually do that. That's bad. That's bad of me. Bad host.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up for you.
So we usually have the numbers of how much. You know what, Marv? I usually do that because it's the whole how much more money is Disney gonna make. So I think Disney gets a percentage of this still, or no? Did they get a percentage of this, guys?
They gotta get something. It's
or
their
is it still
character.
just Sony? Is Sony? I think this is still just Sony getting this one, right?
Movie rights.
I'm sure Disney or
Marvel.
Marvel Studios, we'll do that in air quotes, gets a percentage.
Okay, it opened at an estimated 90.1 million at the North American box office.
Really?
Wow.
The Marvel brand is strong, whether it's Marvel Studios or somebody. It proves that it's strong, and also that the first Venom movie, for the most part, which I did enjoy. I enjoyed the first Venom movie for the most part. That was a fairly successful movie, even though it did not take place in the MCU.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's dive into it. So again, we're talking about the latest Venom movie that was released over the weekend, and follow up to the Venom movie that was released a few years back. And so we get to see Eddie Brock, what he's up to now, and he's obviously got the symbiote in him, Venom. So let's just cut through it. Let's call him Venom. Venom's in with him, and he's kind of established an everyday life with Venom, which is interesting and everything. And you see how he has to deal with what he's been living life with, with having Venom with him. And we just see how his life kind of has progressively, not really been that great to start with.
I think it's been stagnant. It looks like it's just,
and you would think if you got a symbiote, you would be able to, I don't know, capitalize on it. But later on in the movie, it did show that he was able to capitalize using the symbiote. So, I guess we had to wait a little bit and we visually saw that. So, question, why did he initially go to see Eddie Brock? Why did Eddie Brock initially go see Cletus Cassidy at the end of the first movie?
You know what? If I recall, I don't know if they even had this movie written by the time they filmed that, because it really seemed like that. Because if you remember the first movie, there were a number of symbiotes that came into the world. Venom wasn't the only one. So I don't know if they were implying that Carnage was a different symbiote instead of what we actually got in the movie, which was, in the movie, Cletus Cassidy, they meet up, and then in the jail cell, he bites Venom or Eddie Brock, and then with Venom in his bloodstream, Cletus Cassidy says that line like, "I've tasted blood. That is not blood."
Yeah,
so that's why it was a little inconsistent there. Where it looked like in the post credit scene, it made it seem like that Carnage was a different symbiote, but now this one he's the spawn of Venom. And I'm trying to remember in the comics correct
me if I'm wrong. I think in the comics again, and it's funny, the movie. Some of these movies do touch back on what was done in the comics. The scene where Eddie is broken out of jail, it reminded me of the comics of Maximum Carnage when Eddie broke out of prison.
What was that? You mean Cletus Cassidy? Especially that first scene where he's being wheeled out. Because that was
I'm talking about Eddie Brock when he was at the police for the movie. He was at the police station.
You're talking about
and then he gets broken out by Venom. Now, if I recall correctly on this, Marv, in the comic Maximum Carnage, weren't Eddie and Cletus cellmates? And he got broken out, and
Yes.
some of his
By the way,
symbiote was
Maximum
left.
Carnage, one of the best
Yeah.
Super Nintendo game I ever played, and has such an awesome soundtrack.
Oh,
So-
I'm sure it was.
But yeah, if I recall, yeah, they were cell.
Yeah, and the symbiote was still left. I guess when he broke out, it was still left on the cell, and that's what
Yeah.
attached.
Okay, so
itself
yeah,
to-
okay, so in the comics, he was the spawn. He was basically the
It
spawn.
was the spawn of, to use another comic, it was the spawn of Eddie Brock. So
Also created by Todd McFarlane. Who also
Yep,
created that.
Todd McFarlane, our man Todd. What's cool about, again, you saw how finally Eddie is using Venom for the benefit of building out the story on Cletus Cassidy, how he was able to discover the bodies, figure out where the bodies are buried. And shout out to Brian Copeland for being the newsman.
I knew he looked familiar.
Monroe Catholic, class of '82, and his son is down the hallway right now. Adam Copeland down the hallway. But shout out to his dad, Brian Copeland, class of
Yeah, I was
'82 at
watching
Monroe
that
High.
going like, hey, isn't that the guy in Channel 2?
Yeah, and he was on KTVU back in the day. But yeah, so it was kind of cool how you saw Venom help Eddie Brock solve all the mysteries of where Cletus buried the bodies. And because of this, then the governor comes on and says, well, now that's it. We need to execute this guy. Forget all that. We're going to execute him. So like Marv mentioned, Eddie Brock felt compelled to see him one last time. Cletus bites him. And then obviously the symbiote from Venom goes inside Cletus. And thus we get to see when he's supposed to be executed, we see Carnage come out. And so, and before we even get into everything else, the movie establishes that Cletus Cassidy, when he was a kid, was sent to this, I guess,
This,
we wouldn't call it a youth home. What would they call it? Like a place for bothered or troubled children or something like that.
I would say an orphanage,
he was,
but
he was sent there, and he meets somebody there, and she has abilities, and she's able to, her and Eddie develop a relationship, and they end up falling in love, and they just, it's crazy as it sounds, they become like high school or grade school sweethearts, shall we say. And ever since, and it's like Cletus and what is her name? Come on.
Shriek.
You guys got, what is it?
Shriek.
Well, Shriek, but what was her? Well, okay. So let's just say Carnage and Shriek.
Yeah.
They have this love for each other that developed ever since they were kids. So they were the only ones that were there for each other. So there's an element of abandonment that's happening with these two, how they felt they were abandoned as kids, and how they only had each other that helped them through. Now, we obviously understand later on that Cletus is a psychopath that ends up being a serial killer. It's established that he's killed so many people because of what happened when Eddie revealed all the bodies that were buried. Again, so we see basically Carnage being formed and just the stuff that Carnage does. Now, again, we won't go through chronological order and everything, so let's just cut through it. I felt, just honestly, I know the movie was rated R, but we're talking about Carnage here. I felt we needed to, as crazy as this sounds, I felt we needed to see a little more violence and blood. I just felt that's how the Carnage character should have been, where it's just unspeakable evil.
He's scary.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be scary. You see him, you're going, oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Where you don't want to mess with this guy. And it was even to that point where Venom sees him, like, oh, whoa.
I will say when you first are introduced to Carnage, he did look pretty scary. I was like, wow.
Yeah, he did. And I don't know. Me personally, I know he killed the director of the jail where Shriek was at. He killed by choking her out, but I don't know, call me crazy. Maybe slicing
have
her head
impaled her
open,
because that's what Carnage would have done.
blood spewing out.
Yeah.
I thought because he's a red symbiote, you could have got away with a lot more blood. That's my thing.
Oh yeah.
See, because now I didn't see it because obviously I saw it in the drive-ins, but Marvin, you could back me on this. Did he form his axe to, because I know in the comics, in the symbiote, he had that like axe.
Yeah,
and I know
he does it here and there in the movie.
he does it here and there. And that's what I'm saying. I wanted to see more of that, more guys getting sliced up. I know I sound like Quentin Tarantino now, but I felt, this is crazy to say, I felt with Carnage, just the name alone, I'm picturing blood, I'm picturing violence. Heck, I pictured him killing even the inmates that he ended up freeing.
Yeah.
I wanted that. That's what I pictured Carnage to be. So, yeah, we saw, this is just me personally. And I'm sure a lot of folks are commenting that, oh, Lou, you're crazy, dude. You're crazy. He already established that he was killing people. But no, I wanted to, I guess
it's strange how for the DC movie, you're like, they shouldn't be so violent, but with the Marvel,
yeah, exactly.
this character, he needs to be violent.
The character because look, Venom himself, and the funny thing about it, through the movie, Venom is saying how he's been tamed, how he's been basically not able to be his true self. With Carnage, I thought you could have shown that, where he's just killing at random, because correct me if I'm wrong, guys, the symbiote is formed from the host's desires, right? The host's personality, exactly. Right?
It depends. It's Venom's a complicated thing. As far as I know, he's just an alien. Okay. Yeah, he does feed on your emotion.
Yeah, that's why I figured with Carnage, he would get all those, psychopathic emotions and thoughts of just, heck, I mean, when he stole the Mustang, okay? Great car, by the way. When he stole the Mustang, I figured he would have killed the guy. Nah, the guy just was running off. No, I figured I
honestly didn't think that was in character with Carnage, to be honest. He's not the kind of guy that would steal a nice car. He's the kind of guy who would just grow big and kill everything in sight.
That exact. See, you just said it. Kills everything in sight. And that's why I was expecting him to kill the other prisoners in that place that he freed Shriek from. But no, they all celebrate and all that. And that's just me. Okay, so again, we're not going through chronological order in the movie, but obviously what's interesting also, and I mentioned it about Venom, is that the big scene where him and Eddie Brock fight each other, it looked like, and Marv, I know we're going to talk about it, and you want to bring up this point, how this is a buddy movie, and you're looking at basically two best friends having an argument.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not just because they're symbiote, but it's a symbiotic relationship. They need each other to survive, but they're also, like I said, they're not just their best friends, but they're also their worst enemies. And this is a buddy movie, even though one of them is a big alien loop that shows up every now and then. So it's funny, you do get that friend, you get that friend that, the best friends go at it and then they go their separate ways. You're like,
yeah. And what's interesting when Venom separates from Eddie and he starts just living life, that rave scene I thought was, oddly enough, was funny, but it was just so symbolic. The fact that when Venom took the mic and he starts talking and he says how Eddie,
I was just like, what the hell is this?
Eddie didn't want me to come out, be my true self. And it was so symbolic because you saw what was going on in the scene, where he was at, and especially when he's saying clearly, I'm coming out to being my own, to be my true self. And all the audience around, again, they're at a rave, I believe, and a lot of, you got to figure there are a lot of transgender people there, a lot of, homosexuals, straight people. It doesn't matter. There were just so many different type of people at this party that what Venom was saying kind of symbolized everybody at this, at this club. So that's why he got the biggest cheers. because everything he said, and plus I love how everybody, oh, I love your costume. Where did you get your costume? That's really nice, So yeah, and like the goth people, when they would see him, they were even impressed by his costume, So it's just great how that scene to me, and through the whole movie, that scene just basically summed it up. That how Venom just at that point wanted to be free, wanted to be himself, and I know a lot of the gags about how he needs to eat people to be at full strength. But and then Eddie saying, no, here's some chickens. And that's why he didn't want to eat the chickens became his pets. That was great. And so, and that's the thing. Venom got, in a way, that's kind of interesting how he's telling Eddie he needs to eat humans so he could be strong and get the full, yet he wouldn't eat the chickens. Because he got, you know how we talk about when it comes to pets, people go nuts over pets.
Yeah.
Compared to compared to other
this
beings.
alien that wants to eat people does like, I don't want to eat the chickens. That's his.
Yeah, I don't want to eat the chickens. So that again, a lot of symbolic things about it. So again, my thoughts on this movie, just quite personally, to me, they could have done so much more. Yeah. In a sense that I think I get what they were trying, the buddy concept. The buddy it was a buddy flick, but I didn't feel like this was Riggs and Murtaugh. I didn't feel like it was like that.
Do you mind if I ask a question?
Yeah,
Sorry just to interject, so I can have fulfill the quota of being included in something where I didn't even see both of those movies. Mm-hmm. But then briefly, the reason why is, the first Venom movie, I didn't really hear a lot of great reviews.
You should watch it. I enjoyed it for the most
part. But here's the question I'm going to throw out to you two, because I've obviously that's the reason why I've kind of sitting back and I am enjoying what I'm hearing. The question I wanted to ask is, it's the second movie where, before we get to the conversation about the spoiler, the mid credit scene, watching both of those movies, Venom 1 and Venom 2, how does it feel, knowing what we know, watching a movie of a character where Spider-Man isn't part of the origin? What is that like for you guys?
It was weird at first, because Spider-Man was very integral to that origin, because in the comics, I think he was first, the black suit was first introduced in Secret Wars, which is this big giant crossover, and then Spider-Man brought the black suit over, not realizing that was an alien suit. So honestly, the Venom is directly tied to Spider-Man. So when they announced that they're going to do a Venom movie, obviously the question was, wait, how are you going to do this without Spider-Man? And to be honest, I had no problem with how it was delivered. I mean, at the end of the day, Venom is an alien. Okay, an alien just comes into the world. I mean, it just so happens he has eyes like Spider-Man, but for the most part, I think it worked, to me personally. That it didn't need to be linked to Spider-Man. But we'll talk about the mid-credit scene in a bit. But now I am seeing, like, it didn't have. And like I said, not only that, look, Venom spun out to be this big character in the comics. He's not just a Spider-Man villain. He has his own book. In fact, I think for the past few years, Venom has been like one of the top Marvel selling comic books in the past maybe 3 or 4 years. So the fact that, he doesn't need Spider-Man to, going back to a symbiotic relationship, Venom doesn't need Spider-Man.
Yeah, true. Jesse, you do bring up a good point, and I think we're going to discuss it when we talk about the mid-credit scene. That's my opinion. We're going to discuss it. And yeah, Marv, that was interesting how Peter Parker in Secret Wars, if you would have went to the right machine, his costume would have been fixed. Do you remember that? How Thor comes out and he goes, hey, how'd you fix your costume? He goes, oh, I went to the machine in there. And then Parker walks in. He goes, wait, there are 2 of them. Which one? So yeah, that was real interesting. How I loved how they brought that in, and how Parker comes back with. Honestly, I thought that was a cool look for him. The black outfit, it looked cool, but then it turns, and I liked how it progressively turned into Venom, like Jesse's mentioning, and how you mentioned, and how Venom, where he is now, how the character Venom itself is just, kind of, in my opinion, probably as popular as, when that Wolverine guy was, coming out. Maybe not, So
I mean, we've had series of Venomverse, so he kind of has his own franchise too.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
it shows that there's something that clicks with with the rest of the audience.
I still need to see it, and I guess because I love the Venom character. I was just telling Marvin during our pre-podcast, my very first trade paperback, now graphic novel. I was reading the first couple of issues with Todd McFarlane, and Venom was scary. It always, and this might even touch into the next theme of Sopranos. I'll talk about it later, but idea about like the costumes look similar to Spider-Man, but the Venom that I started out enjoying was terrifying. He was a stalker.
Yeah.
He is a jilted reporter. He was stalking not only Mary Jane to get to Spider-Man. He was stalking maybe Aunt May, but also one of the things that you're going to notice, I guess, hopefully they'll touch on in the future, is he doesn't trigger Spider-Man's spider sense. So there's advantages, and there's this where you have a big, also muscular villain who has Spider-Man's powers, but a lot of the ferocity. So that's I guess that's where I'm coming from. I guess I'm stuck in my old ways, thinking like
I would suggest you do give at least the first Venom movie a shot. I enjoyed it, and to be honest, if the first Venom movie came out before the MCU movies, it probably would have been like the greatest comic book movie ever.
Probably, yeah, probably. That's no lie.
These MCU movies have set a high bar, so
yeah. That first Venom movie, I'll be honest, I was very skeptical, but I was like, I came out there, okay, that was pretty good.
I like Tom Hardy's Venom. I really do. I like his portrayal of both Eddie Brock and Venom. It's not exactly the same as presented in the comics, but at its essence, it's two beings trying to coexist with each other. It's almost like, they're codependent. If you want to look at it that way, and kind of like, I guess like a drug, like a very dangerous codependent relationship they have with each other. And I mean, yes, the movie is definitely played more for laughs, but it's there. So I do like that. And basically my overall thoughts are the movie of, I like Tom Hardy as Venom. This movie was for the most part forgettable, even though we had a lot to talk about. Let's talk about the mid-credit scene.
Yeah. We'll get to it in 1 second. I just want to throw this out there real quick. Why I felt the movie didn't hit, because you only had, usually in these movies, you have more than just one battle, right, Marv? It was just one battle between Carnage and Venom. There wasn't the usual, the setup battle to the finale. You know how it is, the formula is, okay, the hero gets beat in the first battle.
They only encountered each other once.
Yeah, see, they had the setup battle, and then, okay, I figured out what my mistake was the last battle. Here I go in the finale battle. No, it was just one battle. Maybe some folks find that, refreshing instead of the formula I just mentioned. But it was just the one battle. And the movie lengthwise, time-wise, was pretty quick. It was pretty quick. It was
this movie was short. I watched a 7:00 showing of the show, and knowing movies lately, they have a billion previews. So from 7:00, and I looked at what time my movie was over. It just hit 9:00. I'm like, wow, this movie's really short.
Yeah. See, so it was a quick hitter. So that maybe it wasn't not necessarily a problem I had. Well, I guess because I wanted to see more Venom versus Carnage fights. I wanted to see more of that. I felt like I didn't get enough of that. Again, I felt Carnage wasn't the name Carnage. Just to me,
if I could be honest,
what Jesse mentioned about evil, I felt the character Carnage is like, think about that. If Venom is evil, what do you think Carnage should be? See, that was my thinking going in at that. Carnage should just be this, guy that just kills just for no apparent reason. Just the name itself. Carnage.
If I had to guess it, if in the comics you can get away with him probably being a mass murderer.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. I think this might relate to my feeling about Suicide Squad 1. It can't be better than Justice League. So with Carnage, he can't be better than Venom. He can't be that more popular or dangerous than
He needs
Venom.
to be the antagonist.
Oh, he can't be. Well, here's if you start liking Carnage, that kind of throws off what they're supposed to be doing.
But
something's wrong with you if you start to like Carnage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That you could have shown him how. I mean, it tried to, in my opinion, it just didn't hit the mark of how evil Cletus is. That's just my thing. Because like when they solved the murders, I don't know, maybe you could have done a flashback of, again, call me crazy, of maybe how he killed the people. Instead of just boom, here are all these bodies.
Great. Now that we have the Snyder cut, now we're gonna now we want the Carnage cut. Because I bet you there is a cut where it's a rated R Carnage. I bet you there is somewhere.
Think about this, guys. If we would have seen, like, there were so many bodies that were discovered. Maybe not the actual, I mean, they could have done like a montage of like a minute of him killing all these people. And damn, this guy's evil, and for a second there, I don't know, Marv, if you caught it, where, okay, he killed his grandmother, he killed his mom, but he was holding the cat. Did he kill the cat? Remember, in the drawing thing, it was an animated
If they wanted to make him evil, they should have had him.
That's what I'm saying. Show him doing that. That's what I wanted. I wanted, like, this guy is insanely nuts. Stay away from him. And look, you're going to be cheering for a guy like Venom to beat him. Look at that. Venom is not exactly Mr. Clean, right? Look at how he looks.
He's kind of a schlub.
He's, the sharp teeth, the claws, like Jesse said, the big muscular built. It's like, and you're rooting for that guy. You're rooting for him. He's in the black outfit. There's a reason why he's wearing black. He's an anti-hero. And it's like, to me, they could have, I don't think you would have to worry about people cheering for Carnage if they showed all the violence and all that. But I felt that if they would have shown, just me personally, maybe it's just, I've seen so many movies and so many stories through my years that I now have a standard to set. If you're an evil, bad person, you need to get to a standard. Maybe that's my
I think it is. You have to, it's every movie is different. You have to realize every movie is different. They have their own way of showing things.
Yeah. And also I think they could have just, I know they established it was a buddy movie, but they could have done a little better with the dialogue. If somebody would have wrote a better script, better jokes, I think this movie would have probably done, in my opinion, a lot better. So you want to add anything else, Marv, on that before we jump into what we really want to talk about?
Well, before I don't want to cut into Marv, but I just want to say really quick, I wasn't even searching, but there is, when I was just doing my cast research, there is an article on why Venom is short. And the one line I'm reading is, it's supposed to be a thrill ride. But I'm reading that, but you're telling me that it's missing some targets, like in terms of the action and the dialogue and the horror. Need a little bit more sprinkling of horror. Apparently,
my opinion.
Horror. That's the word. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I think they should have treated this kind of like a horror movie.
And hello, it's the month of October. Would have been nice. Would have been nice, guys. I don't know, just my opinion. So let's jump into it, Marv. You lead us off with it. I know you've been biting on the bit. Do you want the main gist,
or do you want me to describe what happened?
Please describe what happened first.
Okay,
for all the folks that don't know.
So somehow at the end of the movie, they end up looks like somewhere south of the border. They're watching a Hispanic drama on TV. They're
telenovela.
Venom and Eddie Brock are just talking to each other. And then it eventually segues to Venom telling Eddie Brock, hey, you haven't seen what I've seen. I've crossed billions of light years. I've seen everything in the universe. Let me show you what I've seen. So Eddie Brock's like, okay. And then and then they're in a hotel room and it's nighttime. So it looks like Venom is beginning to show us stuff, but the next thing you know, the world starts to rumble and all of a sudden it turns to daylight. At first, we're given the impression that okay, he's showing Eddie Brock, but then when Venom is going on, it's like, wait, what the hell is going on? Where are we? And even Eddie Brock is like, wait, this is a different hotel room. It's daytime. What's going on? And what's playing on TV? J. Jonah Jameson outing Peter Parker as Spider-Man. So somehow some weird multiverse shenanigans happen. and Venom is officially in the MCU.
Yeah. And what was great was Venom walks up to the television screen and just looks at Parker when they show Parker, and he just goes, "This guy," and the tongue comes out, and it's like you can tell there's something there that Venom senses, or there's something, whether he senses or something he's not saying in regards to seeing Peter Parker / Spider-Man on the TV screen. See, so now we could talk about what Jesse's point was about the inspiration for Venom. It's like, wait, you do a character that's inspired by Spider-Man, yet you don't talk about Spider-Man for 2 movies. And now technically you do at the end. And again, I'm with you, Jesse. For a second there, I'm like, well, what are you going to say? What are you going to say that, oh, he just happened to look like that? Well, like Marvin said, yeah, I guess you just happen to look like that. Now
we're referencing the costume, right? The costume looks.
Now I'm thinking, guys, that they're gonna throw something out there that will link that will answer that question, because I know for a fact a lot of people have said the same thing you've said, Jesse. Yeah. Even myself, I've said, okay, if there's no Spider-Man, what is the inspiration for you to look like that? So I'm pretty sure the MCU writers are going to come up with something. There's going to be something. There's going to be like a little blurb or something that'll, okay, that's the answer. Like Marv's favorite thing, saying the word blip. It's going to be something like that, or it's just going to be something like, oh, and this. Well,
it is
why.
established in the comics that not only is the symbiote an alien, he comes from a planet of symbiotes that look exactly like that, so they could easily just say that and maybe to talk about what we could hopefully hope for in the future of Venom, they come from the planet of Clintar, which I told Jesse off air, it's not really a planet that Venom is from, but we'll get into that later if we're going to talk about what we may want to see in the future.
If we're talking about predictions, I think I mean, from a guy growing up on these stories, they, at least from the non-scientific, sci-fi notes, in terms of the relationship with the symbiote and Peter Parker, what I'm looking forward to seeing is the possibility of, well, when Peter Parker had the symbiote and Peter Parker had to reject it, the symbiote acted emotionally and then bonded with Venom, matching Eddie Brock, the Eddie Brock of the comic universe, his hatred for Peter Parker and Spider-Man. So how are they it's going to be interesting to watch how they kind of just juggle, the realities of the MCU / it's a Fox property, right? Venom?
No, Sony.
Venom, Sony Columbia property. I hope it doesn't seem clunky. I hope it does feel like it's a natural fit, but I'm expecting it to not be that either. I'm not trying to set the bar.
As I told Jesse, anything MCU related, Kevin Feige is going to be involved. And as long as that guy is involved, we should be okay. Because I think I told Jesse, sometimes a fear from studios is being micromanaged by executives. But then when you have someone like Kevin Feige, who he's not really looking at trying to make as much money as possible. At the end of the day, every decision he makes with these characters is it true to these characters? Is it true to the source material? That's what he cares about more than will this make money. So I think Kevin Feige is totally aware of the relationship between Peter Parker and Venom and Eddie Brock. So, like I said, in Marvel, we trust.
Yeah. Now, here's my thing. I'm thinking that Spider-Man movie is coming out at the end of the year. Okay. So I think we will see Venom. Now, the big question is, I honestly think we'll see Venom probably in a scene like that, a mid-credit scene or at the end. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Possibly.
I mean, this No Way Home is looking at some sort of form of Sinister Six. Because,
I'm glad you brought it up.
If we go based on if you analyze every single frame of that trailer, who have we got hints of? We got hints of Green Goblin. We got hints of Dr. Octopus. We got hints of Sandman. We got hints of Electro. We got
was
hints
Rhino
of
in there?
That's the thing. We don't know. We only saw hints of 5 of the
five.
Yeah, 5. So if they're gonna do Sinister Six, well, you need to have 6 people to be the Sinister Six. So who's the 6?
Vulture.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Good.
Yeah, that's the thing. We haven't seen a
Marv.
hint of Vulture either. I'm talking about like the people we have seen hints of based on the trailer.
Let me ask this then. Okay, so obviously we could do like a little pool between us 3 here. Like, who would be the 6th member? Now, the long shot, my opinion, a long shot would be Venom, because he's establishing himself not as too much as an evil character, but more of an anti-hero. To me, Venom's the long shot. But here are some guys that are rumored to being the 6th person. The obvious choice would be Vulture.
I have one that may be a little far-reaching.
Yeah.
So
here's my pick. I'm thinking this. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm hoping it happens. I think the 6th member is going to be Kingpin. Ooh. The Kingpin from Netflix. This is how you start
Vincent
linking
D'Onofrio.
in. Oh, he was excellent. Yes. Excellent. And I'm thinking this is how you link in now the Netflix Marvel characters, because, correct me if I'm wrong, I think in this movie, Peter Parker may need a lawyer named Matt Murdock in it. I could be wrong. on that.
I like where it's going.
If that's the case, I'm really thinking this is how we could slowly start bringing in those Marvel Marvel characters from Netflix onto the MCU. So my pick is Kingpin, because somebody, you need a guy behind it all. Because look, Doc Ock is there. Norman Osborn, we saw. You need like the leader type to get these guys together to do something. So my pick is Kingpin.
So I'm not basing this on a lot of evidence of the trailer. If I had, of course, obviously just a desire from the first couple of movies, if it was my desire, obviously Vulture, because 1, he's a legit member of the Sinister Six, but 2, it was unexpected when I saw what was the title of the first Spider-Man MCU movie? Homecoming. I really liked the Vulture, a working class guy who was basically messed up by the system, who basically used alien tech to go ahead and develop, basically like a criminal like gang. And I actually was rooting for the Vulture in the movie. Is that kind of weird? Like I was like, yeah, and plus. I like Michael Keaton. I like an older Michael Keaton. I love him as Batman.
With that scene when he's in the car with his daughter and that was just an amazing, like, just a dramatic experience where you see that realization where, oh wait, you're Spider-Man, and then when he leaves and then he does that spiel where he's just like, I do anything for my family. That's just a great. I go on YouTube and watch that scene every now and then. It's like, man, he's great.
So for the audience's benefit, just to let everybody know, I'm in Washington. I'm in the Seattle area. Marvin and Lou are in the Bay Area. So for you guys, if we're all sitting in a theater together, I'm usually like this, just relaxing. But when I'm really into it, you'll see me do this. Like I'll go in and I'll watch this. I'll watch whatever is going to happen. So when that scene happened, I was like that. If my wife was there, she'd see me do this. Like, what the heck is gonna happen now? when the dad was revealed to be like the Vulture, Michael Keaton's character, I was like, oh, you can even hear gasps in the theater the time I saw that.
Oh my god, I loved it when
that's my feeling. I want
Vulture. Open the door and you see Vulture. You just heard everyone go.
Yeah, it's like
that's what the movie theater experience is all about. Just that instant reaction with not just you, but with everyone, and that's why I love going to the theater still. Even when people were talking about like, oh, pirating movies is going to destroy going to theaters, or recently COVID is destroying the movie theater experience. No, nothing will ever create that experience of seeing something and reacting to it with everyone else with you, around you, with total strangers, your friends. Nothing will take away from.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. definitely. And now,
is it my turn for my?
No, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so go ahead. My theory is going to be a little out there, but before, let me explain. First of all, this is a person who everyone has been hypothesizing that this person is going to show up ever since WandaVision. They thought that oh god, Evan Peters was his character. They thought that where else was he mentioned? They thought Oh God, what else came out this year?
One
But
of the-
okay, so
Oh,
anyway,
fuck him.
if you look at the trailer, okay, his identity is outed, and he goes to Doctor Strange to ask him to remove, have everyone forget. This is very reminiscent to a comic book storyline called One More Day. And when he made that deal, he had one more person to deal with. Do we all know who that one more person he had to deal with was? Mephisto.
Mephisto, is that Sinister Six? Remember? Wait, are we still talking about the Sinister Six? Who's gonna make that up? Mephisto's a Sinister Six? Well, that's out there. That's out field.
Like I said, they're taking from One More Day, and like I said, there's something about this Doctor Strange that I'm watching. I'm like, he's a little off character, but then I'm like going in my head, what if that isn't Doctor Strange?
Yeah,
Okay, I know I'm on the theories. I'm not gonna adhere to it. If it doesn't come true, okay. But
no, own it, Marv. Own it.
It's a good one though, Marv. I would own it too, because look, I established, like, golly, that I was off when Tony Stark was gonna die. I thought he was gonna die in Infinity War.
Hey, I thought it was gonna be Steve Rogers was gonna die.
Yeah, I thought it was Infinity War, and that's why when he had the blade through him, I almost cheered, like, yes, I knew.
Everyone's looking like, what the hell's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Why are you cheering for Thanos? I was like, no, I won my bet, or I knew it. I didn't want to be like that, but Marv, let's mark the tape, as they say back in the old days here in radio. Mark the tape. You said Mephisto, and hey, as crazy it may sound, I think your theory is probably the one that is like right underneath. And you mentioned Kevin Feige and the writers. I think they're going, okay, everyone's been doing, but yeah, no, he's not there. No, he's not there either.
All right, just to recap, Lou's thinking Kingpin. Lou's thinking Kingpin. Marvin's thinking Mephisto. I'm thinking Vulture.
Yes. So
okay.
And watch when we get the movie. There is no 66. It's just a 5 of them. We're like, oh, we all lost.
Yeah, we'd be like, ah. So, well, the one thing we do know when it comes to MCU trailers, they throw a lot of stuff that is not on the movie. Mm-hmm. See, so just they do that on purpose to throw guys like us off to thinking, okay, it's this, but it's really that. So
one day I want them to release a trailer, and when you watch the movie, there's absolutely nothing from the trailer in the movie. You're like, wait, what did they just show us? So you get this, we're like, oh, we're gonna get this. Like, wait, what?
Exactly. So, with that being said, gentlemen, you got anything else to add about Venom, the latest Venom version out now?
Our Venom.
I will. After hearing everything that you said, I will have to see it. I'm sorry. I'll have to get over my old feelings of why I like Venom. But
at least we'll see the first one.
Now remember how Marvin addressed this with Joss about Suicide Squad. Remember her feelings after watching Suicide Squad. So Jesse, if you watch Venom, hopefully you're not going, man, that's 2 hours I can't get back. That's the goal we hope that you don't end up saying.
Yes. You know what I mean? Because time is valuable. I'm not going to sit in a movie where like, okay, I'm already an hour in, I have to commit. But that's like 2 hours of my day where I could.
It's not a perfect movie. I'll get it out.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
we're
a perfect movie.
So, and being that you are a comic guy, you need to take everything out. That's the one thing I learned a long time ago, to take everything out. Wait, it's not supposed to be like that. Or you know what? Just take it out. You need to take it out and think fresh. Totally fresh. So. All right, with that being said, anything else, gentlemen, to wrap this up? Marv, you got any
any more Venom voices? I don't know what else to say. Maybe
many things I'm new now.
Maybe Spider-Man looks
This guy. Yeah, I like when he had the tongue. So, well, that's Marvin. He's our man, Jesse. Joss, we miss you. And, of course, rest in peace, DJ GOC. I'm Lou P, and that was our podcast on Venom. Thanks for coming. Peace.
Bye. All right.